Hello once again, and welcome to Arendelle Homestead. Going to be doing something a little different today. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while. I'm going to start doing book reviews. Mostly going to be hippie-ish, sort of back to the land, homesteading type books. Sorry I've not posted in a while. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happening in my life. Just mom of 6 kids, homeschool, homestead, business. Pretty much what it boils down to. Not been able to really get outside to make a lot of good videos because we have been having torrential rains. Like, I have lived in this state my entire life, and I remember nothing like the rain we have had this year. It has been insane. So, yeah, just been a lot of indoor, and as you can tell, I'm sort of posting indoors right now just because it's cold. I don't really want to go out, and it's nighttime, and I just felt like a video. So yeah, I'm going to start trying to post more often because I really want to get my channel up, maybe get some like-minded friends and all that stuff. So anyway, start looking for videos in the next little bit. I'm going to try to get outside tomorrow if it's nice and show you a few new additions to our homestead, talk about some more things. I've got several ideas for videos I'm going to do. But anyway, back to the subject of today's video. Oh, and one other thing. I'm probably not going to be doing any videos showing me for a little while. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But my phone is crazy, and I think the reverse camera is broken on it. I need to just get a new phone. So I'm probably just going to be showing looking out videos. So anyway, back to what I'm talking about today. We are going to be discussing books by this gentleman right here, Mike Oehler. He is, I feel like, one of the biggest unsung voices of the off-grid movement. And he died in 2016. If you are interested in learning about him, there are a handful of videos on YouTube by other people who feature him and, a lot of things about him. And he's just an interesting character. I so wish I could have met him. His most famous book is this one right here, the $50 and Up Underground House book. I got this just because, I had seen the before-mentioned videos, and I was just really intrigued by him. I mean, a lot of his beliefs and his thoughts and his social commentary and everything, and so I really started looking at his book, even though we really weren't planning to do an underground house. I just didn't really think it would work in our area. Of course, he would argue that point. If you've read his book, you would know this. But it just seemed like more than we really wanted to get into, so I got the book just to read it, and it is interesting, even if you're not into off-grid or non-traditional building. Just the way he writes and his thoughts on society and the world and all this kind of stuff, it comes across in his book. He's also the author, as far as I know, this was his last book, it's the Hippy Survival Guide to Y2K. Now, obviously, this is not, Y2K was nothing. I'm a 90s kid, and, we lived through the whole Y2K craze. I was 16 in the year 2000, I'm dating myself there. But, so yeah, Y2K was nothing, but, you have to remember, this was written in 1998, 1999, at the time when everybody, from the government on down, believed Y2K was really going to be an impactful thing. And it's split into, like, 2 halves. Like, the first half of the book is, a lot of just, like, a day-to-day log, almost, of his just interactions with people and prepping and all that kind of stuff. And then he kind of gets more into the survival aspect of it. And really, I've read a lot of, like, prepper survivalist guide books, and really, I think his is the best one. It is the most practical. It's not a shut yourself in a bunker kind of thing. It's more what Mike Oehler believed, which is that the future of America is in the small homestead. And I completely believe that. I think that factory farming and all of the other just huge industry that is taken over, not only in agriculture but in other areas, is just killing us as a species, as a country, as, families, everything. I think that really everybody just needs to be a back to the lander, even if the back to the land is your half-acre backyard, which you can, there are books out there on how to homestead on a half or even a quarter of an acre. So anyway, if you're into that kind of thing, really check this book out. Even with the Y2K stuff, it's not like doom, 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 overpowering. It's more interesting because it's just more about how nobody wants to hear that. I'm sorry, cat coming through. It's more that nobody wants to hear that something bad could happen. And if we look at society, we know nobody lasts forever. I mean, Rome, as powerful as they were, fell. I mean, the Native Americans, been in Americas for thousands of years, and just in a few hundred years, really, since the arrival of the huge influx of white people in the 1800s, society completely wiped out, gone. And, it can happen. It could be something like a technological glitch like everybody thought Y2K was going to be, or it could be what I feel like is the most likely scenario, some kind of EMP incident. So it's really good to be prepared, and, I kind of follow a little bit of prepping stuff, but I'm not one of these hide in a bunker, build up your canned food supply kind of people. I'm one of the more prepare for the lasting consequences kind of people, which, that's why we're trying to do a homestead. Part of the reason, we have many reasons, is because I want to be in it for the long haul. I want to have my animals and my garden and my seeds I can plant every year, which we're trying to transition more from big box store seeds to, what is the word? Blanking out here. Heirloom, I'm sorry. Just drew a mental blank there. I don't know what's going on. Mom brain, I guess. To heirloom seeds and things like that. So, really, even if you don't want to hear about Y2K, check this book out because I love this book. I have reread this book so many times, and it's great, even just as a fun reading thing. This is his latest book that I've read. This one's kind of a little harder to find. It's been out of print for many years. You can sort of tell this is a probably 70s copy. I got it off eBay. It's called One Mexican Sunday, and this is really his most lighthearted thing he's written. And it's just about when he was really young, about like early 1970s, late 60s, early 70s. I'm not sure exactly of the time. He went and lived in Mexico with a sort of, not really with, but he kind of lived next door to, but they sort of rented the house to him, this poor family down there. And a lot of it is just, a day-to-day account of his life down there. But it's also kind of comes across as, we think that we're so rich in America, but really that in a way that we're poor. Because stuff and materialism and all this just useless, stupid things matter so much to us. But down there, it's more about just, enjoying a good meal and family life and sitting around talking and just, the joy of growing things in your own garden and just all these things that are important to people down there. And of course I know that, Mexico is not the same nowadays, that it has become sort of in a lot of ways a dangerous place. But I guess in other areas, it's maybe the country sort of areas, what we would think of as the country. It's not so much that way. And, please don't think that I'm somebody who's all like, I hate Mexicans. That is not my thing at all. If you follow me on Facebook, you know that I'm a huge detractor of the wall and all that kind of mess that's going on down there right now. But what I'm trying to get across is it's about a simple life. And just that stuff and materialism is not the way to go. And it is a little gritty. I mean, he talks about prostitution and that some aspects of poor life are not really fun, but it's very good. I really enjoyed it. It's a little short book. You can get through it in a day or two. So Mike, he's wrote a lot of things. He's interesting kind of character. He did a little stint at folk singing, and which I don't really have any of his albums, but I know they are out there. He lived alone in his self-built $50 underground house in the wilds of Idaho, up near the Canadian border, until the day he died. And then, like I said, he died in 2016, and he was just a character. He was a great, I feel like, I mean, I'm sure he was kind of off and weird in a lot of ways, but he was also somebody I just wish I could have met. And he wrote another book. It's the Underground Greenhouse book, and I actually don't have that one. I'd like to get it. I've just not got it yet. So anybody who's into homesteading, prepping, off-grid, please check out Mike Oehler. He is not a prolific writer, but he is a great writer. I thoroughly enjoy Mike Oehler. So that's my book review for the day, and I shall be reviewing some more books as I read them and talking about it. I'm currently reading for the first time Jack Kerouac's On the Road, and I will be talking about that as well. So until next time, this is Rendell Homestead signing out.